This question examines Porter's five forces model, a widely used framework for analyzing industry attractiveness and competitive intensity. Porter identified five forces that shape competition within an industry. 1. Rivalry among existing competitors. 2. Threat of new entrants. 3. Bargaining power of buyers. 4. Bargaining power of suppliers. And 5. Threat of substitute products or services. The interaction of these forces determines how attractive an industry is and whether firms can earn sustainable profits over the long term. The key phrase in the question is concurrent action of basic competitive forces, meaning the combined effect of all five forces rather than any single force individually. Students should remember that Porter's model is primarily used to assess industry structure, competitive pressure, and long-term profitability, helping managers formulate strategies appropriate to the external environment. A strategy that a company should follow to achieve its objectives. Incorrect. Porter's five forces provides an analytical framework for understanding industry competition, but it does not directly determine a company's specific strategy. B. Rivalry inside the industry. Incorrect. Rivalry among existing competitors is only one of the five forces, not the overall result of their combined interaction. C. Entrance barriers that potential players must face to get into the industry. Incorrect. Entry barriers relate mainly to the threat of new entrants, which is only one component of the model. D. Long-term profitability and the competitive intensity of the industry. Correct. The combined effect of all five competitive forces determines how intense competition is and how profitable the industry is likely to be over the long run. Strong forces generally reduce profitability, while weaker forces create a more attractive industry. Correct answer. D. Long-term profitability and the competitive intensity of the industry. This question tests understanding of the BCG growth share matrix, a strategic portfolio management tool used to classify business units or products according to market growth rate and relative market share. The matrix consists of four categories: stars, cash cows, question marks, and dogs. The key clues in the question are growth is slowing down and still generating significant amounts of cash flows that cover the company's investment in new product innovations. A product with high market share operating in a low-growth or mature market typically generates more cash than it requires for its own operations, allowing the company to finance other products or strategic initiatives. Students should associate strong cash generation and slowing market growth with the cash cow category, rather than with products requiring heavy investment or producing weak returns. A. Star. Incorrect. Stars have high market share in high-growth markets. Although they generate substantial revenue, they usually require significant investment to maintain their competitive position, so they are not characterized primarily by excess cash generation. B. Cash cow. Correct. Cash cows possess high market share in low-growth or mature markets. They generate strong positive cash flows that often exceed reinvestment needs, providing funds to support new product development and business expansion. C. Question mark. Incorrect. Question marks operate in high-growth markets but have low market share. They require substantial investment and may eventually become stars or dogs depending on future performance. D. Dog. Incorrect. Dogs typically have low market share in low-growth markets and generate limited profits or cash flows, making them poor sources of funding for innovation. Correct answer. B. Cash cow. This question tests the objectives of budgeting, one of the fundamental topics in management accounting and financial planning. A budget is a quantitative plan that translates organizational objectives into financial and operational targets for a future period. Budgeting is not merely a forecasting exercise. It is an important management tool that supports planning, coordination, communication, resource allocation, and performance evaluation. The key phrase in the question is major objectives of budgeting. Students should remember that effective budgeting encourages managers from different departments to work toward common organizational goals and provides benchmarks for comparing actual performance with planned performance. In contrast, budgeting should motivate and coordinate employees, not create a culture of blame. Therefore, options emphasizing punishment or blame for unfavorable variances are inconsistent with modern budgeting principles. Foster the planning of operations, provide a framework for performance evaluation, and promote communication and coordination among the organization's segments. Correct. These are the classic objectives of budgeting. Budgets help managers plan future activities, evaluate actual performance against targets, and improve communication and coordination across departments to achieve organizational objectives. B. Foster the planning of operations, facilitate the identification of blame for missed budget predictions, and ensure goal congruence between superiors and subordinates. Incorrect. While planning and goal congruence are valid objectives, identifying blame is not. Budgeting should encourage learning and improvement rather than assigning fault. C. Define responsibility centers, provide a framework for performance evaluation, and promote communication and coordination among the organization's segments. Incorrect. Responsibility centers are part of responsibility accounting, not a primary objective of budgeting itself. D. Define responsibility centers, facilitate the identification of blame for missed budget predictions, and ensure goal congruence between superiors and subordinates. Incorrect because it includes the inappropriate objective of blame assignment. Correct answer. A. Foster the planning of operations, provide a framework for performance evaluation, and promote communication and coordination among the organization's segments.